Hey, welcome to Five Lakes Garage, the home of random projects. We have lists, we have Jeeps, we have trucks, we have food. You name it, we got it. So help out the channel by just hitting that subscribe button. And if you like the video, go ahead and like it. And if you really like the video, like it and then tell a friend. But stay tuned, enjoy yourself. I'm gonna let you go because I got stuff to do. Hey, welcome back to Five Lakes Garage, and today we're actually going to be back onto the trailer. Hopefully this is the last time this guy is in this shop, but I think I said that last time. I'm going to say it again this time because maybe it'll be true. If I say it enough, it will be true one day. But what did we do with this particular trailer? Well, we extended it. We put a dovetail on there. We replaced the axles. We moved the suspension back. We restructured underneath to make it strong enough to be able to haul the CJ, which is in the other shop right now because I needed room. We also put some steel on the back of it to actually finish it off. Now what we need to do is actually put the fences back on. Now I did put the fence on the original side and just left the dovetail out here. I figured, I don't need it. Yeah, I need it. It's a pain in the butt to reach over. I got to use screws to hold the sides on because I don't have everything set up for long term. So that's what we're going to finish off today. I went to Home Depot and guess what? The lumber prices finally came down. Oh my good gracious, this thing has been ridiculous. I priced all this out, everything that I picked up. It was going to be about $250 to $300 to do what I'm doing right now. Now, I went up there the other day just off a whim, hit the website, boom. Yeah, less than $100, right at $100. But anyway, I'm able to do this now. $300, yeah, I've already put enough money into it as it was. I didn't want to put anything else into it. Now we're ready to do it, and we're gonna go ahead and put these things back on. Now on the dovetail, what we're trying to do is put these guys back on. Now these is just basically C-channels. This is actually the same stuff that the frame is actually made out of. And what we're actually going to do is put this on this is the frame of the trailer. Slap this on there. We're going to put some 2x4s down in there. And as you can see, that's not the size of a 2x4. So what we need to do is actually go upstairs to the table saw and actually cut these things down in order for it to fit. And then once we get it down here, I'm going to take the belt sander or the regular sander and shave them down enough to where actually it'll fit and customize every one of them. Don't want to make it too tight, but we don't want to make it too loose that they're flopping all around and falling off. So, come on down. I'll show you what we're doing. Alright, sorry for the camera work, but I am out here by myself once again. So, as you can see, I actually put one right there, and one right there, and one right there. Oh, I don't have one right there, but that's the one I left off so I can show you guys how I did it. And also coming down here on the side, I put this guy there, and actually I took it from right back in there. I shaved that off. Now it's sitting right there. I wanted to space them out enough to where I can put some fencing down here at the back. What are we going to use for the fencing? Well, we went to Home Depot and got some pressure treated stuff. Now this is basically decking board. So this is what we're going to use. Decking board. We're going to use some decking board. So we got some 12-foot sticks. We got some 2x4s. All right. Wow, the sun is bright, but I'm going to suffer for you guys. So this is all the boards that we're actually going to use to be able to put fencing all the way around that thing. It's a little shy than 12 feet long, but then it's only 6 feet wide. So I got some 12-foot sticks and also got some 10-foot 2x4s. They're all pressure treated. We're going to cut them down, shave them down to be able to fit in each one, and then we're going to actually put some screws in it. Now the original design of this thing was actually use now I'm in the shade. That's awesome. We also used some bolts I used last time, and these work great except for a couple of things. One, you're not going to get these things off because they just spin on the backside because all they are just some flush mounts. And what the problem though is that I walk past it, boom, I'm scraping, I'm scratching, I'm getting stuck on my shirt, I'm ripping my shirt, I'm ripping my pants. I don't like it very much. And also when I put straps in here, I always having to make sure that it's not sitting on that so it doesn't ruin it. So what I'm gonna do is actually put regular screws. Now we're going to use about an inch, inch and a quarter screws to be able to go all the way through the board and then actually through the 2x4. Now it's probably not going to last forever. Eventually they will actually break away, but then you build out more siding for this thing. Now it should last for a long time because I use it for exactly what it's designed for. Massive amount of weight and stupid construction. Well, destruction. So anyway, so what we're going to do right now is actually going to weld on these last two. I'm going to show you how we do it to make sure that they're square, they're plumb, and that they should be able to be ready to be able to fit your gigantic 12-foot gate here. So let's get this guy welded on and show you how I plumb it. All right, so this is basically right where we're going to put it. I measured off some of the other ones. We want to make it consistent, and they are 7.5 inches dead center of the actual bracket. So I made a little mark, and then I took my grinder and grind off all the paint, and then I used some weld through primer. I got this from O'Reilly's. It seems like they're the only ones that carry it, and they usually have it in the back room, so you have to ask for it. Now here's our biggest problem with doing this whole setup. As you know, if you're watching the other videos, this dovetail is slightly down. I believe it's like a 10-degree. I have to look back at the video to find out, but it's about a 10-degree slope. Now, if I just weld this thing here, it's going to be up at an angle. I'm not going to be able to lift this thing straight up. So what are we going to do? Well, we want to make sure that this guy is on there. So I'm going to grab one of my little brackets, some vice grips, and yep, I dropped it. Come here. All right. So this piece of wood right here is actually one of the ones that I cut off of the old one. And what this is going to do, there you go, is make sure that if I need to fill it up and actually make this a little bit wider, then I can do that. But it's just a little guide to make sure that, you know, I'm reusing these so they're been cut. As you can tell, it's not in a straight line. So I will put this, clamp this on there. And if I need to pull this up and fill that in with weld, then I'll be able to do that. So let's get this guy on roughly. I'm just gonna eyeball it for right now. I'm gonna take our vice grips, loosely put them on there. All right, so we wanna make sure this guy is nice and tight. That's in there tight. So what we're gonna do is actually use a quick square. Now, if I took this quick square and put it on this rail here and put it down, yeah, it would be perpendicular to the actual slope of the dovetail. We don't want to do that. That's why I have this board right here. Now I picked out the straightest board I can find. So I'm going to put this on top, and then I'm going to take something to hammer. There you go. That is perfectly straight up and down to the side of the trailer. So now we're straight. Now we can just run some welds up and down, and then we're good to go. But before I do that, let's just weld through primer that. All right, hopefully you can be able to see that. And what I want to look at here is that since I put this board in there, as you can tell, I'm touching here, but I'm not touching up top. Now I'm going to have to fill that in once I start welding in order for it to be straight up and down. Now, like I said, these have been cut off. They're not exactly straight. And if I keep grinding that down, the pocket right here is going to get smaller and smaller, and I'm going to have to shave off more wood in order for it to actually fit. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to use this as a template. Only use one all the way around to make sure each one is exactly the same. If you use a different template, then it could started getting variations. Also, be careful when you're actually welding this because it's wood. It'll start on fire. Okay, so let's tack this in and go from there. All right, so if you caught all the other videos about this trailer, and if you did, I thank you very much so. So then you are the part of the, what, 20 people that watched the other ones? But I do need to get this thing done. But anyway, if you watch some of the other ones, you would notice that I didn't wear my jacket last time when I was actually doing a lot of welding because it was blazing hot. It was blazing hot again today, but I'm still going to wear my jacket because, to be honest with you, my arms itched so bad last time because I was stupid and didn't even wear the safety gear that I already have. Now, yes, I still have shorts on, but hey, baby steps. At least I got a jacket on. All right, as you can see, I have it welded up there. I had my wire speed up way too high on this side, but I was too lazy to go over there. So that looks like garbage. This one looks a lot better. It's not the greatest, but I am down at a slope. If I actually had it flat, oh, it would be beautiful. But I don't have it at a slope, so I don't have it. So try to keep down the rust as much as possible. We got another one right here to do. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's only because we have two. We got to keep it up and down straight, but then we also have to keep it straight perpendicular with this guy here. So that is why I have these little tabs right here. So I cut these out of some scrap steel that I had over in the scrap pile. And what we're going to do is actually weld that to the side and then weld the bracket onto it, only because if I weld it up here, your board's going to be aiming that direction because it is at a slant. So we're going to go up and take it out and then weld it up with the bracket. So let's do that. And maybe I can stop sweating for more than 5 seconds, but I doubt it. All right, so we are ready to do the back part of this exercise. So once again, I do have my C-channel, I got my block of wood, and I got my vice grip. So I'm gonna line it up to the center like I did before. Take my vice grip. There you go. All right, so we want to make sure that this is actually straight up and down. That's where you get your regular quick square, and you're gonna stick it along the edge, not on the weld, but on the edge. There we go. All right, so you go ahead and put your edge on that edge to make sure that it is actually straight up and down. And this looks like it is right on the money. All right. So on this particular one, I don't want to weld all the way down. What I want to do is actually get a really good tack on the top half of both of these. And what that's going to do is actually allow me to pull that out in order to straighten it up with our board up top. So let's put some quick tacks right there, and then we can pull the board out and the vice grip to be able to align it the rest of the way. Safety first. Finally, like I said, don't be stupid. Don't follow my lead from last video. Holy crap, that sucked. All right, we're gonna let that cool off for a second, then be able to pull everything off and move it out. All right, sorry for the camera angles, but hey, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. All right, so I have a regular square now. I did have a quick square, and that actually was able to do it perpendicular to the actual deck itself. So what we need to do now is use a regular square and actually make sure that it is square to the board that we're going to be putting on. Now this right here will actually be perpendicular to the top deck and not the dovetail. So I'm going to grab my persuader, and what we're going to do is line that up to the bottom of your board, and as you can see, there's a big gap right there, so that needs to come this way. Grab my persuader and slightly, now you got to be careful. If you move it too much, your tacks will break, and then you got to start over again. All right, so now we're actually in good shape. It's going straight down. Now here's my next problem. That is a huge gap. That would take a crap ton of weld in order to fill that in. Now, one thing we can do is actually get a bigger piece and actually cut it at an angle and then weld it on and do all the other crap. I'm not going to do that because I love to use scrap steel. So I'm going to use this guy. And what this was is actually the old suspension that I cut off of this thing earlier. So all I'm going to do is grind that off, weld it right there. Weld it here, weld it on here, and then it will not go anywhere. So let's do that once I put on my gear back on. All right, so that is up there. It's tacked in there. Should be good to go. Before I weld it all the way in, double check to make sure that you are still in line with beautifulness. That is pretty darn close. I am happy with that. We are using wood to actually make the sides, so we got a little bit of freedom there, but we don't want to have too much flop. So I'm just going to weld that in, and then we can start making the post. All right, so now we're upstairs in the shop. Got the trailer downstairs, but upstairs is where I have all my woodworking stuff, and we're going to be using some wood. So what I have here is some 2x4 pressure treated, cheapest stuff I can find. And what we need to do is actually cut these down, because these are going to be the vertical posts. Cut them down to 2 foot each, so 24 inches. This is going to put it about 3 inches lower than what I had before, but for all the stuff that I hang in there, it should be good enough. That and 2 feet actually going to 10 foot, a whole lot easier than 2 foot 3 inches. So anyway, mark all these to 2 foot. I'm gonna go ahead and cut those and then be able to put those inside. Now don't forget the ones that are on the dovetail, it's actually gonna be longer. So we're gonna cut those individually. So right now, let's get these chopped up. All right, we're going to cut these up here. I only need 12 of them. If I have 3 stacks, I can do 15. So once I get to 12, then I'm going to pull them off and actually save this last one so we can make some longer ones. Now what do we have here? This is a 12-inch double compound miter box saw. Just awesome, 12-inch. I can actually slide it back and forth. I can actually put more boards up here, but they fall off my slide. So what we're going to do is actually cut these guys here, all 3, same time. Rip them off. Easy style. Alright, so we have them all cut down to 2 foot. I have this little piece here. This is actually a scrap from another project. Actually, it was an Eagle Scout project. Way to go, Wes. Little Mr. Captain Troop 75. So what I did was actually go downstairs and I needed to figure out how much material I need to take off. So what I did was actually stick it underneath, hit it with some spray paint, and now it kind of gives me a rough idea of exactly what I need to shave off of this in order to fit downstairs. Now I do know that the length of it is 3 inches, so I'm going to run a 3-inch bead all the way around this. All right, all the way around, 3 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure how far on each side we need to go, and then we'll measure how much we need to take off this flat section. Well, let's start over here first, then we'll go to the flat. All right, so basically all I'm doing is actually taking my quick square and putting it all the way up here and then locking it in right at, oh, I didn't lock it in. Oh, I was wondering why that was off so much. There we go. All right, so I put this in there and it looks like I am taking off. Wow, this thing is rusty. I think I used this too much. Might have to hit it with a wire brush. So we can actually see it. It looks like almost a 1/2 inch all the way around. Well, at least on the 2 sides. And the reason why I'm using a scrap piece is that I can actually run this through down to where I think it's supposed to be, bring it downstairs, check it, make sure it is where it needs to be. Then I know that my saw is accurate so that we can make the other ones. Because I don't want to waste any of this lumber, because the price of lumber could go up any day now. So what we're going to do is actually set the height and the width of our blade. Okay, so we have our table saw, and what we're going to do is grab our tape measure and we're going to put this over to 3 inches. Now remember, the 3 inches should be on this side of the blade. If you're on that side of the blade, you're cutting 3 inches and 1/8 ish. All right, so we're 3 inches away. So when I put this over here, I can run this back and forth and it will cut right at 3 inches every time. That's where we want to keep it. That's where we're going to have it. Everyone's exactly the same. Now what we need to do now is our height. All right, so we are pretty much at a 1/2 inch all the way up. And so what we're going to do now is crank it up, and we're going to do 1 and then just do a bunch of stripes. Good to go. Let's find some glasses. So what we have left is the skinny side, which I'll have to reset the saw. And once we get all the settings right, what we'll do is use this as a template, set the saw, cut them all, go to this side, set the saw, cut them all, and then we should be good to go. And then it'll just be a, assembly line. Anyway, I'm going to take this downstairs and make sure that it fits side to side. Oh man, sawdust is killing me. Take it downstairs, make sure it fits side to side before I cut this side here. Be right back. Alright, so this is our template, which is a little tight, but it actually fits in there very well. As you can tell, I have been working on this thing a little bit, kind of making it round on the edges and smooth so that it will fit directly into the slot. So this is actually going to be our template. I'm going to put a big T on it to make sure that we know it is our template. And then I get to at least get the rough cuts done so that we can actually make the rest of them. Now they are a total of 12 that I need to do before I even get to the dovetail, which the dovetail are going to be a little bit different because they're going to be longer. So I'm going to take this back upstairs. Bam. All right, I just got a lot more to do. So there's going to be a lot of time lapse and maybe some good music. Let's get it done. All right, it's been a couple days, but I'm back and went ahead and fixed the van. I fixed the Jeep, fixed a couple other things, but now I'm back on the trailer. So I have all of them kind of cut down. Used the table saw to actually cut it all down and actually clean it up a little bit. But now I got a file here, and if you look on one side, nice and rough. Look on the other side, it is a little bit smooth. So what we need to do on every single one of these is actually go around, and we're going to custom fit every single one all the way around this trailer. Now I've only got the ones cut for the short ones because these are all the same size. Once I get down to the dovetail, they're going to be a little bit longer, and so I'm going to put these up, put my sides up, and then I'll worry about the rear. So I'm going to take my file and the corners and start whacking it down to be able to make it fit. So come follow me. All right, so we're moving right along. We do have all of the, at least the ones on the flat side, all carved out, and each one is actually fitting pretty snug. They are able to pull out, which is good because you still want to remove these things when you need to. Now, what we're going to do, like I said before, we're going to use screws instead of bolts, and I'm just have some of these decking screws. It is about 2 inches. That should be long enough to go through the decking board, through the board, and not go all the way through. You can countersink them a little bit just to keep it so it doesn't snag on your clothes or snag on your equipment. If you're going to put some furniture or something in here, you don't want anything rubbing against it that doesn't need to be rubbed against. So what we're going to do is actually put screws all on this side. We're going to do all the way around the bottom. Now what I did was actually take this board and measure it off to the end, and I believe it was 142 inches. So I went ahead and marked it, cut it, just so that all of them were going to be the same length. I just used a little handsaw. Not a big deal. I'm pretty sure you don't need to see me saw a board. But anyway, a little trick though, when you're using with nail screws, what you want to do is just grab yourself a hammer. We are doing woodworking, so you grab the right hammer. Grab a claw hammer. Don't grab a ball peen. It will work, but it's not ideal for what we're trying to do. So what we're going to do is take these and actually nail these in. Now we're not going to nail them all the way. We just want to get them started. All right, so we're going to put 4 of them in here. Little tip tap. All right, then you're going to take your quick square. You're going to put it along the side, and then we're going to straighten this and make sure she is plumb with the board that we're actually screwing into. So that's pretty tight. Now you grab your drill and bring them home. There you go. All right, I don't know if you noticed, but when I did screw those in, like one was tilted, the other one's tilted and stuff like that. If you just go straight in, which is fine, you're really just relying on the actual threads themselves of the screw. But if you go in at a slight angle, you not only have the threads of the screw, but you also have so you have the vanes that go back and forth. So if you go at an angle, you're getting multiple vanes, not just the one. So it doesn't split as bad later on. So we're gonna go all the way down the end and screw them all in. Let's go. Alright, one side's almost done. It's got a couple of boards to cut and put down there. I just got to measure them off. But that's pretty much the basics about putting up the fences. Really easy. Couple screws, a little bit of saw, and just a whole lot of patience. Now I only have 3 more sides to do. Yay! I got a lot more to do. So I'm going to leave you guys be for a few seconds, and movie magic, we're going to have it done. See you in a few minutes. All right, we're almost at the end of our journey on this trailer. Thank goodness. The only thing we had left was to actually put some brackets on the side. Now, I said before I was actually going to make these. I looked it up and it was actually cheaper to buy them than it was to actually make them out of scrap. Not really price-wise, because obviously my scrap would be free, but with time-wise, I went ahead and picked these up. And basically, it's exactly what I was getting ready to build. That's why I'm like, go ahead and buy it. So you have one side with the hook up, you have one other side with the hook down. Basically gonna sit just like that, put it on your gate, so every time you lift it up and put it back in, it locks in every time, and you don't have to worry about clipping anything or rattling anything or anything like that. So this is what we're gonna use, and this is how, really, it's very simple. We're gonna attach it. I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna put it on top of our rear gate. I'm gonna draw some pictures in the holes, drill the holes, put some lag bolts in it. That's it. The lag bolts that I do have are a little bit too long, so what I'm going to do is take the grinder and actually just knock off the point, because we don't want to get snagged on anything. Everything is pretty flush in here. Don't want to have that. So anyway, so we're going to put one of these on every single corner. So let's go. All right, so basically the trailer is done, at least for now. Next step would be to strip it down, wire brush it, and then put some paint on it. I'm not gonna do that anytime soon, but the fence is finished. Just gotta put some brackets up front, but I ran out of lag bolts. Yeah, go figure. Run out of every darn thing. But anyways, this is how it works. So you got your clip, got a brace on that side, got a brace on that side, and you're just gonna lift it up. Maybe. There you go. She's a little stiff because they are custom fit. So it's got a little bit of weight to it, but we can put it right back on. And if I'm going to tow the Jeep, obviously I'll just take them off. That's one. There we go. All right, so simple as that. It's all done. It's not going to go anywhere. So you can pile whatever you want to have in here, and it should not break off these rails. So anyway, follow some of the other stuff that we do. Hopefully we are going to be back on the CJ here real soon. Maybe the Wagoneer. I don't know. You tell me. What do you want to see next? I got so many other things to take care of. But anyway, one other thing that it's a little tip for you. Come on over here. All right, anybody who actually has a trailer with dual axles on it, you do know that when you try to push this thing and turn it, it's a pain in the butt. So one thing you can do is get yourself a block of wood. Check it out. All right, hopefully you can see it, but basically I just took an 8x8, cut it down, and wedged it on the front axle. And what that's going to do for me is keep the suspension from wiggling around. All right, so if I need to move this thing, all I do is put some weight on the front, and it lifts up the rear tires. So then I can spin it without tearing up the grass, or tearing up the tires, or tearing me up, because it's a pain in the butt to turn this big jerker. But anyway, but hey, that's a quick tip for you. But hey, we got some other parts that just came in today, so we got other things on the plate. Hopefully you stick around to see it. Catch you guys later. Later.